My name is Precious Ellis, and I'm going to be talking to you as well about peer pressure. What is peer pressure? Peer pressure is a social influence exerted by others on an individual or group. The pressure is exerted in order to get someone to act or believe in a similar way. The peer pressure is acted out by a group of peers against another, often as a everybody's doing it kind of thing. The end result of successful peer pressure is a change in behavior. Peer pressure can be both negative and positive. Yes. Again, the result of successful peer pressure is a change in behavior. There is one thing in life besides death that we will all face, and that's change.
That's it. That's it.
Take a second to think about a newborn baby. When it is born into the world, it does not know how to love or to hate. It does not know how to decipher whether it's happy or sad. These are all things that are learned. And once they are learned, we decide how we want to use them in our life and how they will affect others, negatively or positively. Growing up from a baby, we constantly experience change. We go from learning moral judgments or religious beliefs at home with mom and dad into school, and we learn from our teachers and our peers whose actions and opinions cause us to further change. When we hear the words peer pressure, many images come to mind. Well, at least for me. I picture people pressuring others to take drugs and to drink alcohol, to wear clothes that look or make you feel a certain way, to buy what's in knowing you can't afford it. Or perhaps taking on a lustful spirit when you really aren't ready, but you're only doing it because it's what's cool, or because you love somebody. Visualizing these things help me put these types of peer pressures into categories. As I read them, think to yourself, because they might pertain to you. The first is guilty pressure. Has anyone ever guilted you into doing something that you really didn't want to do? Come on, girl, hit this. It's going to be hot for a little while. You'll come back down. Then you find yourself strung out on crack. Or environmental pressures. Some of us grow up in environments that may cause us to act in a manner that others might frown upon. For example, gang violence. If you grow up around it, you may feel the need to be a part of it. Social pressures. How many of us know somebody or are the type of person that, you're what I like to call a light switch? Because when I see you at work or at school or even at church, you're rough and tough. But when you're home with mommy and daddy, you're as intimidating as a teddy. Or the person that is holier than thou.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
When you see them in the street, they're quick to cuss you out.
Okay, okay, yes.
Now from my Moses generation, they like to go out and buy things you know you can't afford. Have a car payment of $600 when you know you ain't got that. But keeping up with the Joneses, y'all know all that.
Yes.
If I'm stepping on anybody's toes, please pull them back under the people's fire. Identity pressures. So often, the media wants us to believe that we all have to look a certain way or be a certain size in order to be beautiful. This is why so many people are killing themselves trying to be thin, or 90% of their body they bought. Finally, lustful pressures. Has anyone ever made you feel less of a man or a woman because you were still a virgin? Locker room talk. What? You haven't done it? You're such a loser. Or ladies, have you ever met a man that told you, if you love me, you'll do it, baby? Get real. What's love got to do with it? And I'm going to be reading from the Life Application Study Bible. This is the New Living Translation.
All right.
Please forgive me, I don't have my glasses. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a large crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sins that so easily hinder our progress. Let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, on whom our faith depends from start to finish. He was willing to die a shameful death on the cross because of the joy he knew that would be afterward. Now he is seated in a place that is oh so high and honor beside God's throne in heaven. Think about all that he endured when sinful people did such terrible things to him, so that you might become weary and give up. After all, you have not yet given your life and struggled against sin. Although these pressures may try to consume us, we must get real. Realize. Real life is only found in Jesus.
Amen.
Eliminate. Get rid of everything that's holding you back. A, allow. Let go and let God.
Yes.
Allow him to be your focus. L, learn. Learn from your mistakes and the pressures that we have encountered.
That's it.
As I stated earlier, there are not only negative pressures, but there are positive. As Christians, followers of God, we should be striving to help eliminate these negative peer pressures and create more positive pressures. I remember one of Pastor Terry's sermons, and I believe it was entitled, "Who's Taking Your Picture?" She said, you never know who is watching you.
That's right.
And who is learning from your actions. By eliminating negative peer pressures, we are allowing ourselves and others around us to strive for greatness. Eternal greatness.
That's it.
A positive peer pressurer, if you will, is a mentor. Instead of joining in on what everybody else is doing, let's lead others in a new direction. My aunt and I had a really great talk yesterday, and she brought up the word charity. And the more that we talked, the more the word stuck. And the more it stuck, it brought me back to Pastor's sermon, who is taking your picture. Just as negative pressures leave us at times in a lead us and can at times cause a detrimental effect on us and those around us, knowingly and unknowingly, our positive influences can affect people that we don't even know. My aunt shared a book with me, and God works in such mysterious ways, because it's also from my aunt. It's called "Would It Take Nothing for My Journey Now?" And I would like for her to read just to read a piece of it.
Amen. The sweetness of charity. The New Testament informs the reader that it is more blessed to give than to receive. I have found that among its other benefits, giving liberates the soul of the giver. The size and substance of the gift should be important to the recipient, but not to the donor, save that the best thing one can give is that which is appreciated. The giver is as enriched as is the recipient. And more important, that intangible but very real psychic force of good in the world is increased. When we cast our bread upon the waters, we can presume that someone downstream, whose face we will never know, will benefit from our actions, as we are downstream from another, will profit from the grantor's gift. Since time is the one immaterial object which we cannot influence, neither speed up nor slow down, add to or diminish from. It is an imponderable, valuable gift. Each of us has a few minutes a day or a few hours a week which we could donate to an old folks home or a children's hospital ward, the elderly whose pillows we plump or whose water pitchers we fill may not thank us for the gift, but the gift is upholding the foundation of the universe. The children to whom we read simple stories may or may not show gratitude, but each boon we give strengthens the pillars of the world. While our gifts and recipients should be considered, our bounty, once decided upon, should be without concern, overflowing one minute and forgotten the next.
Amen.
So my question for you is, who gains from your actions? Who loses? As Christians, we are representatives of Christ. How are we influencing the world that we live in? Yesterday, during the Get to Know Your Church event, which if you missed, you missed out, Brother Baker made a statement, and he said, you are invited into heaven. Choose to go to hell. Don't allow peer pressure to determine your eternal destination.
Yes.